Hello and welcome to episode 36 of the Turner's Digest. My name is Alex, otherwise known as Fear the Z, and as always, we'll start off with our disclaimer. I'm not a financial or a tax advisor. This is not financial or tax advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, but please enjoy. Sorry for the short hiatus from last week. I was down visiting my relatives, my family in Jersey. Nothing too interesting happened down there. We did get a new roof, and we did get a bunch of rain. There was an earthquake, actually, down there, if you care about this type of thing. But I have a lot to go over this episode. It took me about an hour and a half to write up the show notes. I don't know if people read the show notes, but it's essentially my script, so it's kind of needed for me to be doing the episode anyway, but I do spend a lot of time making it, so I do hope people go through and at least click some of the links. It's always in the show notes down in the description, also on fearthez.com. There will also be a lot of stuff that was either lightning deals that are now expired that were on the Patreon or some exclusive to the Patreon. Now, exclusive is with an asterisk. I started this podcast by saying anything put on the Patreon will still be available publicly, and that will be true, at least in some form. So we'll dive into that here a little bit. But speaking of the Patreon, if you're interested in becoming the member, you can go over to patreon.com/turnersdigest. You start as low as $1 a month. It goes up to $10 a month for the Cleed tier. And as always, shout out to Kung Fewer as well as Cleed for members of the Cleed tier, as well as welcome new members of the Patreon, the members John, Ray, Kay, and George. Thank you very much for your support and welcome. If you're interested, there's some referrals that I talk about in this episode. They will be on my referral page, which is also in the show notes. And if you liked that intro music, that was by my brother's band, Sweaty Lemon. They've been recording recently, and I believe they should have some stuff on maybe their Instagram or their SoundCloud. So take a look, see if there's anything on there that you'd be interested in listening to. All right, without further ado, strap in because this is going to be a long one. All right, so first, since this was from last week, because I was anything from the episode prior, which I think came out on like the 25th, the 26th. So this is an update from since then. So some of the stuff is a bit outdated, but still happened. I want to cover it as they pop up as I'm reading Doctor of Credit. I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting to just briefly mention on the podcast. So we'll dive in. First off, on March 26th, Will from Doctor of Credit reported that Barclay and Breeze Airways launched a new co-branded card. It is the Breeze Easy Visa credit card, which specifically is for Breeze Airline. I didn't even know that was an airline, but their sign-up bonus is 50,000 points after you spend $2,000, which is worth $500 towards flights. $90 annual fee, not waived the first year. You get 10x back on nicer bundles, nicest bundles, and trip add-ons, 5x from the card and 5x standard. So it's weird that their reward system already gets 5x, and then you just get an additional 5x. So you're not really getting that much value. And I agree with Doc here, very underwhelming benefits, even with the sign-up bonus. There are better Barclay bonuses available, and it's not going to be going on the list of best credit card bonuses, but figured I'd call it out just because it is a new card, and I do like seeing new cards in the space. Not too interesting, but thought I'd cover it. All right, next, I'm just getting over a bunch of expired lightning deals from the Patreon, but I shared that DoorDash gift cards over at Amazon were 15% off. Those were for $50 a pop. You could also use a card that earns 5% back on online shopping or online shopping or Amazon. Top Cashback did another one of their incentives, spend $15, get $2.50 back. I just buy gift cards with it. Lyft did a very short-lived not even one day. I saw the post at like 4 p.m. from Doctor of Credit that there was a referral, not a referral link, a code on Lyft. Excuse me, I have to clear my throat. A code on Lyft for code lifting, 60% off a Lyft ride that was expiring that evening at midnight. So it was only live for like maybe 8 hours. So stuff like that, I obviously can't wait to share on the podcast. So I just shared on the Patreon. People were able to use it. I wasn't able to use it, and Dr. Credit actually originally shared a different link or a different code, which was Spaghetti24 But someone in the comments actually shared that lifting was an available one that gave 60% off rides, and that seemed to be working. So I shared that over on the Patreon. And then our final expired Lightning deal was another DoorDash gift card, this time for Best Buy, where it was $15 off your Best Buy gift card purchase for DoorDash of $100. I actually did purchase that one. I also stacked it with a Albert Boost at Best Buy, which was 15% off, up to $50 spend. So I got $5 back on that, which was nice. All right, next we have a bunch of stuff from Robinhood. So I received an email after last podcast episode of an account review that Robinhood said I was going under. I already gotten a more official email from Robinhood that was like from their support, and it went through like a support flow in app that asked me to verify some information as well as provide specific pointed answers to questions I had, such as why I was making so many debit transactions, why I was making so many ins and outs. And full disclaimer, I do use Robinhood for debit card funding. And that's kind of what they were asking me for originally back a couple months ago. They're like, hey, why do you have so many transactions coming in and out, specifically debit card funding? Can you send us screenshots of your account statements for the bank that's associated with this debit card? So I sent them along. I was like, hey, I'm just depositing funds and then buying crypto and sending them out. Sent them a bank statement that had, I think it was like $40,000 of, or like $30,000 of every day, $1,000 in, $1,000 out. And they saw that and said, sure. That's from episode 25. I called it the Robinhood Saga. So I guess this is like Robinhood Saga Part 2. I received another email from Robinhood. This time, they said, thank you for being a valued Robinhood customer. We take safety and security of our customers and their accounts and information very seriously. Recent review of your account has prompted an immediate request for more information. Please provide the following information. They didn't lock my account. The first one that they sent me did lock my account until I answered some questions. But this one, they didn't lock it. I went through and I still did my debit card transactions every day since this email's been received. But they said, an explanation of the source funds of the deposits into your Robinhood account, an explanation of the debit card transfers from your bank between October of 23 to March of 24, an explanation of the frequent deposits and withdrawals conducted between that same time period. And this part really caught me off guard. An explanation of frequent deposits and withdrawals in your account between October and March totaling $314,000 rather than submitting larger deposits and withdrawals. And they said, please give us documentation and get back to us. So, yes, I did withdraw and deposit $314,000. It's crazy to see that number, like, written instead of just $1,000 in and out for, what is this, 5 months. I will say the cashback that I've gotten has not totaled the percent that it should be, considering I've withdrawn and deposited $314,000. But regardless, I sent them an email back, and this email correspondence in its entirety is shared on Patreon. I'm covering it in the podcast, but I'm just not making the document public. But I essentially told them that I'm funding my account with the debit card. I find that crypto transactions are easier to be done with the instant top-up feature because it's more convenient for me. And the reason why I'm withdrawing funds is because I have better interest rates elsewhere. Haven't heard anything back since. This was from March 24th or 25th. So a couple weeks ago from time recording. And I'm still doing the same transactions. They don't seem to care. So I'll be sure to share if anything else comes of that. Next, I was listening to Kai over at the Daily Churn, and he was explaining how the Robinhood IRA match that I covered a little while ago, a couple times, was really lucrative and was too hard to pass up. And I was like, all right, let me look into this a little more. And it kind of is really lucrative. He said that his P2 was getting like $14,000 from the 3% match, which is crazy. I'm not getting anywhere near that, but still enough to make, I think, this worth it. So it requires you to sign up for Robinhood Gold, where I'm unfortunately not one of the people that are targeted with the $50 per year or $5 per month gold. I get the $6.99 per month, or I think it's $70 for the year. But it comes with $1,000 free margin, which again, shout out to Kai for pointing this out. You get a $1,000 loan essentially for free from Robinhood. And if you just park that in SGov's earning 5% right now. So over a year, you'll get $50. So that retracts from your annual fee for gold right there. You also get a bunch of other features if you actually use Robinhood. I use their debit card funding, obviously, and I think having Robinhood Gold as well as a possible IRA living in there would help my account maybe not get closed. So Robinhood Gold also comes with 5% interest on their bank account up to 2.25 mil FDIC because they have a bunch of sweeping bank partners. And they will also refund IRA transfer fees. So not only are you getting a 3% match in your IRA transfer, you're getting up to $75 in fees waived, as well as going forward, all IRA contributions are matched 3%. It does have a 5-year vesting period, and you also have to have Robinhood Gold for 1 year. But looking at my alternative, I currently have my IRA parked in Merrill. Merrill's going to charge me $50 closure fee. So it's unfortunate that Robinhood's only for transfer fees. I'm going to see if I can swindle it somehow, because in order for me to transfer it over, I have to close the prior account. So it's, in my mind, basically a transfer fee. So we'll see what they say to that. I don't think it'll work. But the reason why I have it in Merrill is because I get premium reward status with Bank of America. And there's a status of having $25,000 to $50,000. That's, I think it's honors. I mean, let me see what the actual status names are. Good thing I looked it up. So the 20K to 50K is the gold tier, where you get 25% boost to your credit card rewards. Platinum tier is 50K to 100K, which gets you a 50% boost to credit card rewards. And then Platinum Honors gets you a 75% boost, which is 100K plus with them. So looking at my spend analysis for 2023 and just my Bank of America cards, I calculated what the differential is between Platinum and Platinum Honors. And it's all the same because it's an additional 25% boost to your credit card rewards. So with all the spend that I put on my Bank of America cards, I get an extra $200 about per year in credit card rewards. Now, if I were to max out my IRA with Robinhood, which would be $7,000 times 0.03, which would be the 3% match, that's $210. So I'm getting $210 from Robinhood as a match, which is great. That will offset the $200 that I'm losing with Bank of America. And it's really quote-unquote losing because I'm currently in Platinum tier, and I was maybe about halfway to Platinum Honors tier, so I wouldn't get that if I just continue contributing to my IRA for maybe 5 years, because that would be $25,000 divided by 7. That does not $7,000. Excuse me. That will be 3.5 years. So let's round up to let's say 3 years. In 3 years, I'd be able to get an extra $200. So between now and then, I'm not really losing anything by going to Robinhood. I get a guaranteed 3% match on my IRA. The Robinhood Gold is only costing me maybe $20 a year after the $1,000 free margin. And also, I don't know how to tell if I'm using the $1,000 free margin. I don't see in the app explicitly where it calls out if I'm using margin or if I'm using funds. I don't think I have any funds in the account, even though it made me transfer funds in order to use margin, but those funds haven't settled yet. Also, I'm transferring from Wealthfront this is now a tangent on a tangent. I'm transferring from Wealthfront into Juno, and then in Robinhood, I'm pulling out of Juno to get funds into Robinhood to meet the requirements for margin. So I'm pulling out of Juno, putting it into Robinhood. So I decided to refill Juno. I just keep some money in there, which is involved in my debit card loop. But Wealthfront told me that there's a delay in my transfer to Juno, and they didn't give me an estimate on when the funds will arrive, but they're just telling me that it's delayed, which was odd. So I thought I'd call that out. Anyway, back to the tangent. I don't know if I'm using margin or not with my SGov purchase. I did buy $1,000 worth of SGov. I'm going to try and see if I can figure out better in the app or through the web portal, but I really couldn't find it. And then back off the tangent, it's really $200 extra, and I'm not really losing that. And in addition, the 3% IRA match for transferring it over, that's getting me a couple $100, closer to $1,000. So even if I were in 3.5 years to get up to this Platinum Honors tier, that extra $200 that I'd be making, it would take me an extra 5 years of making that $200 to match the 3% bonus that I'm getting from Robinhood. So in my head, it works out. Now I am tying myself up into Robinhood. I don't have to go for this IRA match. I can continue going with Bank of America. We'll see what I do. I think that at least locking up the initial IRA funds is worth it for the 3% match on the initial transfer. And we'll see if I do the contributions every year. One thing that is potentially going to get me to stick with Robinhood is they natively support backdoor Roth IRAs. So they have like documentation on their website on how to do Roth conversions. And not only that, the UI in Robinhood like natively supports it. There's a button to do a conversion from traditional to Roth, and it populates the forms and does it over for you. You don't have to call anybody. It makes it very simple. So that was a turning point as well. And also in me switching to Robinhood, I was making the transfer to request my IRA from Merrill to be transferred over to Robinhood, and it explicitly said, hey, is your name accurate? And it said Alex and then my last name. And my legal name is Alexander. And when I made Robinhood in like 2014, I just put Alex because that's my preferred name, not my legal name. So I went and submitted a name change correction, but that was after I submitted my transfer. So I'm curious to see if the transfer will bounce because my name doesn't exactly match. All right, that's my Robinhood business. Well, I'll be sure to update y'all on how I'm liking Robinhood and how the transfer's going, and if I get my 3% match. Apparently, it credits immediately. And in addition, the 3% match, unlike Webull, which has like a 4.5% match on your IRA transfers, Robinhood's, they consider interest. So that 3% goes directly into your IRA. And since I have a Roth IRA, it's not going to be taxed going in, nor will it be taxed going out. So it will be completely tax-free match. Where Webull, they put that into a brokerage account, a taxable brokerage account, and they pay them out in 25% increments over, I think, 4 years. So Robinhood is a very lucrative offer. And if you have decent funds in an IRA, I suggest it. And huge shout outs to Kai. Definitely check out his latest episode of The Daily Churn, where he talks about this more in depth and why it's such a good offer. All right. Next. This is since expired, but U.S. Bank is offering double cashback, or was offering double cashback on cashback credit card deals. So I think it's specifically like shop through offers, or like your like Chase offers, stuff like that, where there were some highlights of 15% back on groceries up to $25 max, or 10% back at IKEA up to $20 max. This was just from March 27th to March 30th, so it's over, but I don't even have a U.S. Bank card. But some people that did, hopefully you were able to capitalize on some of those offers because they seemed pretty decent. All right. Next, my Elements bank account sign-up bonus credited. Let me see. Where the heck is my data point? Here it is. So it was a $400 bonus. It required, I think, 2 months of $500 direct deposit. So I opened the account January 29th. February 9th, I had a $501 real direct deposit, which showed as external deposit, employer name, regular salary. And then on February 21st, I got two $501 direct deposits. It posted twice because my bonus, my end of year bonus, came in that paycheck, and they issued two different paychecks. So whoever I choose as my direct deposit distribution accounts, it does it for each paycheck. And then on March 8th, and this data point's a bit off. I think it's, if this was March 8th, March 8th and March 22nd, I had two $5 real direct deposits just to keep the account free. And then I was looking at Doctor of Credit comments on this at some point, like last week, and saw a lot of people were credited on March 26th for their sign-up bonus. So I reached out to support, and support told me just through their secure message on the website. Support told me that my code was properly applied, but I needed to submit pay stubs to verify. So on the 28th of March, I submitted pay stubs, and then April 2nd, I received my $400 bonus. So that's pretty great. Thus far this year, I have a grand total of $1,200 worth of bank sign-up bonuses. Last year, I had $4,000 total, so not bad thus far. This year, I have $600 worth of credit card sign-up bonuses in the form of my Bank of America Premium Rewards card, which did credit. I met that, I think, towards the end of March, and I opened the card in February, and the $600 sign-up bonus in the form of miles posted, which was very nice. All right. Next, Ally decided to remove next-day transfers, which was interesting. I personally used it as like a hub account where it's like my transfer in and out account, so I can like pull from one account, send it to another account. The UI is just like simple, and it allows me to do regular trial deposits, not like Plat checks, because I hate having to put in my password. Just put in the account numbers, send trial deposits, pull in, pull out. Great. And sometimes they work as a fake direct deposit if you need to use it. But they remove the ability to do next day transfers. And sometimes, tinfoil hat going on. Maybe it has something to do with liquidity issues. Maybe they don't want to. So banks are made aware of transfers that are coming in a couple of days prior to them actually receiving the funds. And they can just give you the credit once they see it, which is higher risk for the bank because they don't actually have the funds yet. But normally, under most circumstances, they will actually receive the funds eventually. So as a feature to the customer, they give you the deposits early. Looks like Ally is no longer doing that. Now, I don't know why, but I could speculate that it's because they want to mitigate the risk a little bit on that, but who knows? I like Ally. I'm still using them, but just some food for thought. Next, when I went home to Jersey, I got a check from Curve, and I remember that when I opened my Curve account, they didn't support opening a card in Massachusetts for some reason. I think that there's some kind of law here that they didn't want to abide by, so they were just like, we won't open up accounts in Massachusetts. So I was like, can I use my New Jersey residence as an account, as my primary residence? And they're like, sure, yeah, no problem. So I made Curve my primary residence. And when I went home, my mom was like, hey, you have a check here from some bank. And I was like, what? And it was Curve for like $30. And I had forgotten that I had a negative balance of like $30. So they just mailed me a check. I originally did not have any recollection of what it was for, but I remember that it was for a negative balance, and they mailed it to me. I don't think I requested that. I think they just sent it off to me. Next, we have a bunch of updates for Chase. So, first off, because I'm a big credit card guy, Chase is no longer embossing their Chase Freedom cards. So, embossed is when the numbers are physically imprinted in the card, and this was for when credit cards used to. I really don't know the system. I'm not old enough to have used it, but the cha-chunk machine, I've read that, people calling it the cha-chunk machine, but it was essentially, you put the card in and it takes an imprint of the embossed letters on there. So like your numbers, like your card number, the expiration date, and your name would be printed on like a sheet of paper for a physical copy of your receipt. That's obviously no longer used anymore because we have modern technology. And Chase has finally decided to remove the embossed symbols on their Chase Freedom cards. So cool. Next, pretty sad news. Originally, I read it on Reddit, so there's a link to the Reddit post. I think I have a link to the Reddit post. Yeah, the link to the Reddit post that originally shared it, and then Doctor of Credit's post. But Chase Sapphire Reserve, starting July 1st, you will no longer have access to restaurants, cafes, and markets participating in Priority Pass Select Network as part of your Priority Pass Select benefit associated with your card. Huge sadness for that. My Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite card does have this, and it's incredibly useful. I've shared it plenty of times where I've used it, and I'll give a link to the spreadsheet that shows all of my Priority Pass uses in the show notes. But you get $28 off per meal, and often that's enough to cover a whole meal. Maybe you still have to pay tip, which can be like $8, or maybe sometimes it's like $12 for a salmon dinner with a hummus platter, which is what I always get from Stephanie's in Logan Airport. But it's a huge bummer. I love the feature. I use it all the time, especially when airports don't have it. And for a $550 annual fee and you're removing it, that's a pretty bad look in my opinion. All right, next, user on Reddit shared that the Chase Freedom Flex in branch is again offering a 5% back for groceries and gas sign-up bonus. So if you're in the market for a Chase Freedom Flex or you don't have one, definitely suggest opening that up. And I've had some users reach out to me and asking about the Chase Freedom with unlimited rewards, thinking it's taking my words as if saying that that's a better card than the current Chase Freedom Flex card. And that was definitely not my intention. I wouldn't say one card's better than the other. Objectively, actually, the Chase Freedom Flex card is better than the Chase Freedom card, simply because the Chase Freedom Flex card comes with a base category of 1% cash back on everything and then 3% cash back on restaurants and drugstores. And that comes in handy when Chase does a quarterly category of restaurants, which they haven't done in quite a while, actually, until this quarter. So if they continue that precedent, that card earns 7% on restaurants because it earns 1% base, 2% as a boost on restaurants. For that 3%, they consider the 1% as the base, and then 2% as your boost on top of your base. It gets a little convoluted. And then an extra 4% category boost for the quarter for restaurants. So 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7. The only reason why I say open the Chase Freedom with unlimited rewards is so you can still make yourself eligible for the Chase Freedom Flex if you have not got the sign-up bonus before. Especially when the sign-up bonus is 5% back on groceries and gas. Normally, it also comes with a $200 bonus when you spend $500, and that 5% is for a year. And it stacks with the quarterly categories. They always do groceries and they always do gas. So that could be up to 9% back in those categories for those quarters, which is great. And then finally for Chase, actually there's 2 more for Chase. Check your My Bonus offers, chase.com/mybonus. This is Dr. Credit link. I don't have anything available for me, but sometimes there's like 5% on gas, 5% on restaurants, 5% on groceries for a couple months. Often the Chase Amazon cards gets targeted for that, but I don't have any currently. And then finally, Chase Pay Yourself Back, gas, and annual fee at 25%, donations at 50% through June, and it looks like groceries is gone. And Dr. Credit shared that it was confirmed. Specifically, this is for the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So a couple sad things happening. Chase Sapphire Reserve, no more Priority Pass restaurants, no more groceries for Pay Yourself Back. All right, enough about Chase. We'll talk about something that no one cares about. There's a fintech app called Mana that was for gamers. Unsurprisingly, it's shutting down. Thanks, Cleed, for sharing that. I think, as I said before, venture capital funds for these small fintechs are just slowly going away because people are realizing having a bank for gamers is not really lucrative. Next, I talked about Juno a little bit, but they also went through, and before they were supporting both Plaid transfers, only, I think it's pulling into Robinhood or pushing out. I forget. They're weird. They want to mitigate the risk a lot, so they don't allow certain transactions. Now they don't allow Plaid connections. I'm still able to push money out with the same day transfer with account numbers, which you have to put in as pay someone else, but I'm paying myself, so it's weird. But I just figured I'd call that out. Juno's making weird changes. All right, next. This one I'm kind of proud of. I enjoy making blog posts that are ephemeral, that are not ephemeral, that will live on and have value. And specifically, I called this out in last episode too, but user on Reddit by the name of HappyP2 always shares a Chase Freedom 5% quarterly category tracker where they share a screenshot on Reddit of the historical categories that Chase Freedom has had for their 5%, whether it's like restaurants, gas stations, wholesale, etc. And I was always like, why isn't there one like this for the Discover It? So I reached out to Happy P2 and I was like, hey, do you have a template for the spreadsheet? And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll share it with you. I don't know if it's him. I'm just calling. I'll say they. They sent it with me. They don't want me sharing it publicly, which I'm totally fine with. If they ever update it, I'll just give a link to their Reddit post or their Reddit comment. But because they sent me the spreadsheet, I'm now able to make my own. So thank you very much, Happy P2. I've now went and made a historical category tracker for the Discover It. So looking at this, there's a picture in the show notes, and I'm going to keep the source private on the Patreon, but I'm going to be sharing screenshots on Reddit, and I'll share it on the podcast as well. So it's not really like exclusive to the Patreon. But looking at Discover It, historically, the most common category is Amazon, and that normally comes in Q4. Next is restaurants. Both Amazon, restaurants, and gas stations are all at a count of 11, dating back to 2014. Amazon's at 11, 9 of them are in Q4. Restaurants are at 11, 6 of them in Q3. Gas stations are 11, 5 of them are in Q2, 4 of them are Q1. Then it goes wholesale at 7, where 4 of them are in Q2. Groceries at 6, 5 of them are Q1. Target, 6, 5 of them are Q4. And then it breaks down to home improvement, PayPal, department stores, Walmart, and then a whole slew of others. They haven't gotten super weird with them in a little while. Like the weird ones they've done recently are streaming, drugstores, digital wallets, which are huge. They've only done that twice, which is actually kind of surprising. They did it Q4 of 22 and Q3 of 23. So hopefully they keep doing that. But they go through spurts of weird ones. Like way back in 2014, they did furniture stores and Bed Bath & Beyond, RIP. They did clothing stores. They did Sam's Club at one point. And then they did a burst of like Uber, Lyft, Walgreens, CVS back in like 2019. But they pretty much gotten steady on their normal Amazon restaurants, gas stations, wholesale, Target, stuff like that. And they sprinkle in one here and there to, I guess, see how it performs. But I'll be updating this. I'll be sharing it on Reddit. And I'll be sharing on the Patreon when I get an update for it as well. Again, huge shout out to Happy P2 for the actual template. And they actually also used the Discover It referral of mine, which is also on the referral page if you're interested. It was $100 for them and I, which was very nice. All right. Next, I saw on, I think it was on Reddit, that, let me see here. Sorry for the dead air. Yes, on Reddit, user Aggravating Ground 201. Hey, that's a Jersey area code phone number. They shared that SoFi is now giving a 10% boost to their credit card rewards for users that have a direct deposit going into their account. I mean, nothing crazy. So it totals to 2.2% and also 3% on SoFi Travel. But there are better options out there, like Bank of America Platinum Honor Status gets 2.625 on general spend. Robinhood's card gets 3%, but that has a $6 annual fee or $75 if you're not targeted for the lower one. There's also Alliant Credit Union, which earns, I think, 2.5 on everything. So, I mean, 2.2 with no hoops and just having a direct deposit is pretty great. I figured I'd call that out. I also received an email from SoFi. I think it's specifically for my Invest account. They said, hi, Alexander. We've recently updated our fee schedule and want to keep you informed. Here's what's changed. Regulatory trading fees. None of these are really important. The one that I thought was important was inactivity fee. A $25 fee will be applied per account after 6 months of login inactivity. So specifically login inactivity. I have no funds in my Invest account. I think I just opened it up to get my credit card rewards out of my SoFi credit card, which I forgot I even had. But I do log in once a month, so hopefully I don't get hit with a $25 fee. I mean, they specifically say they won't, so hopefully they honor it. All right, next, Global Entry is increasing their fee from $100 to $120, as well as Nexus is going from $50 to $120. But they did make a positive change of miners are going from, I think it was a full price, a full fee prior. Now it'll be free if you're applying with a parent or legal guardian. I'm kind of for this. I mean, I assume all credit cards will now be bumping their credit from $100 to $120 because a lot of travel cards come with free global entry. So, I mean, just taking more money from banks, I'm totally cool with that. But we'll see. I assume they will match it, but you never know. All right. Next, I have a data point for my Bank of America Platinum or my Bank of America Premium Rewards card, as well as one for my Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite card. For my Premium Rewards card, I made a purchase for a $100 American Airlines gift card at aa.com/gift cards. That was on March 30th. On April 2nd, the meter in app moved. So there's a meter that tracks to see what counts for their incidental airline credit. You get $100 per year for the Bank of America Premium Rewards card and $300 per year for Premium Rewards Elite. So the meter in app moved for me on the 2nd, and then the 3rd, I received my credit. So gift cards are still working. Also, for my Premium Rewards Elite card, I made a purchase at Sportsline, which is I think I talked about this before, but it's a subscription streaming service where I got Peacock for a year for $30 and Sportsline, but I don't even use it. And the Premium Rewards Elite card comes with a $150 lifestyle credit every year, which includes like ride share and streaming service, as well as I think gym memberships. And I made the purchase. It didn't track. I called today actually and said, hey, I made a purchase at a subscription service. She read the merchant category code. She said, yes, that should have tracked, and I'll submit a request. So that's pending. Some sort of local news to me. In Jersey, Amazon opened up a bunch of Amazon Fresh stores, which are stores where you can walk in, scan your QR code, pick stuff off the shelf, scan your QR code, and then leave. No checkout required. And Amazon announced that they're doing away with the just walk out stores, and they're replacing it with smart carts. And in the article, they actually detail how this worked. I think I read this on Reddit, but I don't remember where the original post is from, or where the original post is. But what I thought was interesting was I thought this system worked by some kind of machine learning, visual imagery, seeing what a user picked up in a particular section, knowing that section has particular items, putting that in a user's virtual cart, and then once they check out, billing them for it. What it turns out it actually is outsourcing the work to thousands of people in India. That this is what it is. This is what the article describes. Thousands of people overseas, and just them manually watching these footages of me walking into a store, buying bananas, and then charging me for bananas. It's crazy that they've outsourced cashiers to overseas, so they get cheap labor overseas, but the pricing of U.S. foods and margins here. Wild. And apparently it didn't work, so now they're switching to smart carts, where you put items in your shopping cart, and the shopping cart will know what you put in it based on barcodes being scanned as it's entered. I thought that I've actually shopped at this a couple of times, and they sent a bunch of coupons out all the time. They get like 20% off. You return something at the store, you get 20% off your next purchase. It's pretty convenient just walking in and walking out. You do have to check your bill and make sure that you don't get charged incorrectly, because I've been charged incorrectly. I mean, they're quick to refund, but you still got to be on top of it, which is something you shouldn't have to do. But it'll be a bummer to see it leave. It was convenient. The prices weren't incredible. They weren't egregious, but it was just a nice novelty and a nice convenience. All right, next, JetBlue joins the rest of the airlines in bumping up their bag fees. They've also introduced peak and off-peak pricing, which is specifically for bringing bags on the flight. So if they consider things to be peak, then they get to charge more. I mean, that sucks. JetBlue, I guess I'm glad they didn't buy, I think they were going to buy Spirit. I mean, just another airline going budget and nickel and diming you for just about everything. Next, just CDs in general, like certified deposits. I've been looking into them. I had my mom buy a couple that were like 5.3%, which was, I'm surprised she got that good of one. I forgot that she did that. She put a pretty hefty lump sum into a 5.3% CD for, I think, 12 months, which is great. I think she got it from Ally. And I'm not seeing that from them anymore. And I opened up a 11-month flex CD with Blue Peak with credit card funding of $1,500 just to toss them in there. I should put more, but I'm considering potentially buying maybe a house coming up here, which isn't great considering I just opened up like 5 credit cards in the past couple months, so my credit score isn't looking great. But we'll see if I lock up some more funds. All right, next we have a bunch of stuff from Target. So Target is having Target Circle Week, which is from yesterday, the 7th, until the 13th. And what I think is useful is 10% off Target gift cards on the 13th. So I will be making a Patreon post for it, or just make your own reminder on the 13th. I'll probably be maxing it out. Normally it's $500. I don't know. I have to remind myself if something is Target right now for quarterly categories. But if not, I'll probably just use my Bank of America online shopping. Next, Target launches Target 360, which is a Walmart plus Amazon Prime competitor. I really don't see the value prop in this. It's $100 a year. You get unlimited same-day delivery on orders $35 or more, which you already get. Sorry, and then you get a free 2-day shipping on hundreds of thousands of items. You already get free shipping with your Red card, which they're now, as I'll discuss in a second, rebranding to Circle card. So I don't really see the benefit. You also get extra 30 days to return items, and you can ship to your door or someone else's. Again, I don't really see how that's beneficial. $100 a year for seemingly no benefits. You do get $50 pricing for a year if you sign up by May 18th, but I don't see why you would sign up. And then, as I said, Target Red card would be renamed to Target Circle card. No, you won't be getting any new cards, at least yet, and there's no changes happening to the benefits. You should only open the debit card for that anyway, because it's the same features as the credit. I'm curious to see if that will lose its free shipping now that Circle 360 gets free shipping, and that's a paid service, and the card's free, so we'll see. Next, during my hiatus, Louis Rossman, if you're not familiar, he's a pretty well-known self-repair advocate. He posted a video on an American Airlines credit card that he opened up and was very dissatisfied on. And I thought this would be interesting to talk about the podcast. And then lo and behold, 2 days after, someone on Reddit did a good synopsis, and there was a large discussion on our churning. So I won't get too much into it. I will point you to the Reddit thread where they did a good synopsis of it. But essentially, he opened up for an American Airlines personal card to get $200 statement credit off of his bill and 40,000 points after booking a flight. He went to apply, was told he was declined, got a paper in the mail saying he was declined. He then received the card in the mail and said he was approved. He got no sign-up bonus for it. He got a $17.5K credit limit in the mail, which he said he would just throw away if he received a letter from from Citi. It's a Citi card, but he wasn't aware he would be getting it. I would open it unless it was like clearly an ad. Like I know what American Airlines Citi mailers look like. That's a trash. But if one has a card in it, I think I'm smart enough to realize it has a card in it. He complains about an annual fee that's on the card, but it clearly states in the terms that there's a fee. Maybe he just doesn't like that it doesn't say. I don't really know. It's also free for the first year, so maybe he doesn't like that they're like offloading the annual fee. But like, I think, let me see. I think someone here wrote it better than I could explain it. Yeah, the original poster said, I guess this is basically a reminder that experts in one field are obviously not experts in unrelated fields, and the average non-churner almost certainly does not read the terms in full. So just note, again, talking about Kai often this episode, the Daily Churn just recently had an episode where he points out, yeah, we are the top 1% of the 1% of people who use credit cards. People don't have 27 credit cards like I do, or like a lot of us do. People don't know about these terms. People don't read the terms. People don't chase points. Chase. The layman doesn't do these things. So just keep in mind if you're ever talking to someone about credit cards, most of them don't know anything. If you're interested in watching the video, I mean, it was kind of rage-inducing, to be honest. But I like Lou, so maybe give him a view. All right. Next. Capital One is doing their savings bonus again. I mean, they keep doing this, and it seems like they just want deposits, and they're okay with paying out a fee now to get these deposits, and hoping that the deposits come sticky. But the APY is at 4.3%. And if you deposit $2,000, you get $300. If you deposit $50,000, you get $750. Deposit $100,000, you get $1,500. And you have to deposit within 15 days opening the account and keep it in there for 90. I won't be doing this because I already have a Capital One account, but this is great if you can meet the minimums. According to Doc, this account earns 4.3. You end up earning 10.4% over the bonus period, which is pretty great. So if you have funds lying around, go for it. Next, we have a couple things for Discover. This bonus I am doing, this is specifically a targeted bonus from Discover, where it's $100 or $200 savings bonus. Specifically, deposit $15,000 or $25,000 by the 26th of April. And if you deposit that and maintain it until January, February, March, April, May, June, I can never remember the mid months of the numbers. June 25th, for $15,000 you get $100, $25,000 you get $200. My Wealthfront's pretty substantial, and I think I'm just going to move that over to Discover towards the date of April 26th. Keep it there for 2 months, get $200. According to Doc, this comes up to about 12% in APY just for those 2 months. So, I mean, honestly, it's worth it. I'm just moving the funds around. So I'll go for it. If you were targeted, you should have gotten an email saying, like, you get a bonus. It was pretty clear that it was a targeted one, and I received the email. So I'll be doing that. Next, Wells Fargo announced their transfer partners, or they launched their transfer partners, which are Avianca Life Miles, British Airways, Exclusive Club, Iberia Plus, Aer Lingus, Air France, Choice Privilege. All the rest were at 1-to-1 rate, Choice Privilege at 1-to-2. And it applies to Wells Fargo Autograph and Wells Fargo Autograph Journey. All right. Next, there is a, not nationwide, but like, I don't know, 10 statewide, it looks like mostly southeast, for First Horizon Bank for a $450 checking bonus with no direct deposit required. The requirements are maintain a $5,000 average daily balance, and conduct a minimum of 10 qualifying client-initiated transactions for each statement cycle for the first 3 months. I don't really know what those qualify as. I assume it's just transfers. Also, it says that there is a mailer, but you can get a code with a promo code when you give your email. So, I mean, I'd give it a shot if I were a Footprint, but I'm not. And I'm not reading all these states, even though I think I can get all these. I'm not doing it. We're moving on. There's too much going on here. I'm already 50 minutes in. I want to go to bed. All right, next. Oh, here's a big one. I am finally a member of the American Express family. On April 4th, Dr. Okeda shared that the American Express Platinum Sign-Up Bonus has reached 175,000 membership reports. I decided to click the link, and I saw that I can apply without any impact to my score. So I applied. Turns out I'm approved. Decided to message a friend and ask him for his referral link. Submitted an application with his referral link. Got denied. Called up. They said it was denied because you already have a pending application you haven't accepted yet. I told them I want to use the referral link. They closed my first application and then reopened my other one under the referral link, and I was approved. So this is my first American Express card. Congratulations to me. We'll see how I like the coupon book. I definitely don't plan on holding this for a long time. It's already coming to pay dividends, though, because I need to book a hotel for a wedding coming up at Marriott, and I get Marriott Gold status with my Platinum card. just instantly get it. I just applied for it, so it takes I think 5 days to get. And then once approved, I get, I think, enhancements to my stay, as well as free Wi-Fi and a free points offer, as well as maybe late checkout. I also have a referral link for my Platinum card. My link is showing the 175,000 membership rewards. If you're not seeing it, try a different browser, try incognito, try a different device, try a different Wi-Fi, try VPN. I'm able to just get it in incognito in Chrome. So on my link. So if you're not seeing it, you might just not be targeted. They do a very intricate algorithms behind the scenes to determine who's able to see it and who's not. I was able to easily pull it. For a referral, I get 15,000 membership rewards. You don't get 15,000. You just get the sign-up bonus, and I also get 10x on restaurants for the first 3 months. I already had one referral come in, so I'm already getting the 10x. But if you want to use my membership reward, if you want to use my referral link, thank you. In my package from American Express, which they said they overnighted to me on Friday, and I didn't get it till today, which is kind of annoying. And also, I wasn't able to use a instant credit card number. Hello, what year are we in? You're American Express. Honest to God, very disappointed in my American Express experience thus far. For a $700 annual fee, I did not get an instant credit card number. I called asking for it. They said I have no option. I had an option on iOS, not on Android, to add to digital wallet, but on iOS it wanted the CVV, which I don't have because the card's not in yet. I can add the card to PayPal, so it's not like they don't want me to use the card. I can add it to PayPal and use it. I just can't add it to digital wallet, and I can't use it at all. Also, the mailer came in, very disappointing. My Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite card, which has a $550 annual fee, and comes with restaurant access for Priority Pass, unlike the Platinum card, which does not come with restaurant access for Priority Pass. This Platinum card's mailer is kind of doo-doo. It's just like a regular envelope. There's nothing special. Then in there's an envelope that has all my nonsense in it. It doesn't even give me a good details of the benefits. I was very disappointed. And also, not to mention, in the marketing material, in the envelope, it has a picture of the American Express card. The chip on the card isn't even the right size. I mean, no one's going to notice, but I have so many cards sitting next to me. Metal cards have big chips. The image that they have has a regular small chip. It's the small things. But this card comes with so many coupon books, and American Express just increased their partnership with Clear, so I'm probably going to sign up for Clear, give it a shot, see how it is. In my ugly booklet they mailed me, I got my experience score. It's 730. It's pretty sad. It's because I'm opening a bunch of cards, and I'm also carrying a little balances on 0% interest, maybe a couple grand, and I don't think that's helping me. So to meet this sign-up bonus of 175,000 membership rewards, and you spend $8,000 in 6 months. I'm kicking myself because the day before I applied for this card, I paid my taxes. I did not expect the American Express Platinum card to have a sign-up bonus of an all-time high at a public link. Very unfortunate. But I convinced my mom to let me pay her taxes on my card, and then she'll pay me back, which I did look up on Pay USA Tax, which is perfectly fine to do. I'm also looking for bank account fundings, but I haven't found one for Amex yet. If anyone has one, DM me. I'd be interested. But yeah, I now have an American Express Platinum card. We'll see how it goes. I have to go to the airport in 2 weeks for my Europe trip, which I'll have obviously an episode about. And I get Uber credits monthly, so I'll be using that. And I'm going to try and keep track of all the benefits I get with the card and see if it outweighs the $700 fee. I'm still not sure what I'm going to use membership reward points for, but we'll see. All right, I really got to get through this. We have 12 more bullets here. All right. Bank of America announced they're doing double cash back on Bank of America offers, not double cash back day. Bank of America offers. So like their Chase offers where you go in and tap certain things. A couple of those say you get double points. They almost always suck, but whatever. Next, American Express was banning some people from being able to make referrals. Again, I wasn't in the American Express ecosystem, so I never really paid it any mind. But I just read that some people are getting their referrals reinstated. Don't know what caused people to get them removed. Looks like it happened back in 2021. But some people are getting them back. Woohoo. Next, there are some new MasterCard benefits, and these kind of just don't get reported anywhere, so I definitely wanted to highlight it. Bank of America cards now, or excuse me, I don't know if I said Bank of America before, but MasterCard cards. New MasterCard card benefits. You get 7% off prepaid bookings at bookings.com reservations, which is for all MasterCards. MasterCard World Elite cards get 10% off scheduled Lyft rides to the airport. So if you go in the app and use your MasterCard World Elite card, you should see an offer for a 10% off Lyft rides. Other niche things like HealthLock, discounts on MoviePass, Allo Moves, and Resort Passes for consumer MasterCards, and 2-month Instacart for business MasterCards. This is reported by user Pitch Patches on Reddit. So thank you very much. Next, I forgot where this was shared, but there is an interesting post by Bits About Money on bitsaboutmoney.com about the anatomy of credit card rewards programs. And as someone who works for a bank and worked in the credit card rewards industry within that bank, it is pretty accurate. They do interestingly call out our churning. So they say in the section where they're talking about people who are maximizing credit cards and who kind of consider it as a hobby, the banks are banking on these users to not use their top category exclusively because they consider their cost of acquisition to not actually be like 5%. It's more closer to like 2%, and they can make the difference in interchange. This article is really about interchange and how these cards make money. But he delves into us users who are optimizers. And they write, these users will even band into tribes, find each other on the internet, and swap tips for exploiting poor, defenseless credit card programmers like yourself. Credit card program managers, excuse me. And they give a link to our churning there, which I thought was quite funny. And then they also state, the tribal elders will eventually run businesses with names like the Points Guy, which eventually get quietly acquired by very sophisticated private equity firms. Those private equity firms are betting that you continue paying generous per sign-up affiliate commissions to internet properties, which send you new card users. So yes, the reason why I don't like the Points Guy, they take a lot of money from banks. Capital One is very guilty of that. And they offer the Points Guy money for referrals, and the Points Guy promotes their cards. But it's very interesting read. If you don't know too much about the inner workings of how banks make money or interchange and stuff like that, give it a read. It was worth it, in my opinion. Next, Chase is extending their $900 checking bonus until July 24th of this year. I am eligible to open up the account and get another sign-up bonus on July 21st. And specifically, you are eligible when you open the account with a promo code and enrolled in the bonus 2 years from that date. I opened the account on 2/21/2022, so 2/21/2024, I'm eligible to do it again. I generated myself a promo code. I snoozed the email until that date, and we'll be opening an account then. Next, I took my family out to dinner and made a pretty large purchase at a restaurant. Tried to use Curve to make the purchase go onto my Chase Freedom Flex card to earn 7% of the restaurants, and Curve denied me. No notification in Curve. It just said pending, but I was told the card declined by the server, so I had to give them another card. I forgot that I have a card that earns 5% of restaurants at all times in the Redstone Federal Credit Union, so I gave them a generic card because I wasn't thinking. So I lost out on like 5x points or 3x points, but oh well, bit of a bummer. Next, I received an email from Apex Clearinghouse, for a corrected 1099. This is specifically from my previously closed Bumped account, if you know what Bumped is. I talked about this a couple times. But I went through and looked at my old account, my old 1099 and my new one. There's no difference. So I'm not filing anything new. I don't know what they corrected, but there's no differences from what I can see. Next, Dr. Credit posted that Hanami Bank World Elite Credit Card is offering 50,000 points bonus when you spend $5,000 in 90 days on their World Elite Credit Card. The card comes with a $95 annual fee, but there's no benefits at all aside from the bonus. So if you're LOL24 like I am, I mean, why not give it a wing? I don't know if I can meet $8,000 and $5,000 spend in the next 3 to 6 months, so I won't be going for this. But I did confirm in the comments, and I will note, I was the first one on Dr. Credit to confirm that it's worth 1 cent per point. He originally said not sure how much points are worth, but they are seemingly worth 1 cent per point. And I shared and I pinged Will and said that it's worth 1 cent per point on April 7th at 10:55 a.m. And then someone else posted and pinged Chuck, but the ping didn't even work, and said that the points are worth 1 cent per point. I just don't think they like me at this point. I don't know. I try to contribute, and they don't give me credit. Very, very sad. Very sad. Let me make sure I'm right here. 1-6. Yeah, I posted 2 hours before, and they did not credit me. Cool. All right. Next, Dr. Credit shared that there is a class action lawsuit against Walmart for their weighted groceries. It's basically a free $25 you don't have a purchase. Just go in and say that you bought something in the past 7 years, from 2018 to 2024. Did you make a purchase at Walmart that involved anything that was weighed, like produce or meat that was sold by pound? You're eligible for a $25 class action lawsuit reimbursement. Up to $25. Next, E-Trade has a referral bonus for up to $1,000, but it requires $50 to $2 million. So I don't know why he put 50, but you can get $100 if you deposit $1,000 to $25,000, to $25,000 to $50,000 gets $150, and then it ramps up to deposit $500,000 plus, and you'll get $1,000. It's one of the better brokerage bonuses. If you have a bunch of funds to move over, go for it. Why not? You do need a referral, though. So I don't personally have one, but Dr. Credit did share a referral link where you can share referrals. So feel free to share them over there on his page. Next, another American Express Delta offers up to 110,000 miles with no lifetime language. So for those of you who are in pop-up jail or have reached your lifetime limit, see if you're targeted for this. See if you can get it. Next, U.S. Bank Korea Air Sky Pass Select Card has a 70,000 miles bonus, but it has a $450 annual fee. 70,000 miles after spending $5,000 in 90 days, which, I mean, like, the standard bonus is $60K, so this is elevated, but the annual fee for $450 is kind of insane. I don't see how it's worth it at all. Looking at the comments, someone was looking for an $1,800 flight to Seoul, and the $450 annual fee basically covers the $1,350 value. So if you do have flights coming up and you are specifically trying to go to Japan, this could be worth it for you. Definitely look into it. Next, apparently, I've always seen Dr. Credit post U.S. Bank sign-up bonuses, but I haven't been able to get my foot in the door because I don't have an account with them and they're not in the footprint. But apparently you can open up a CD with them and get in with them. I am looking to open up a CD, one that's earning a decent rate. So maybe this is a match made in heaven. If I do open it, I'll share with y'all. But if you want to get your foot in the door with U.S. Bank as well, go for it. You can also do it with credit cards. I don't believe you have to be in their footprint to get their credit card, but definitely look into that. And then finally, my throat's hoarse from talking for so long. But our final thing to share, Valley Direct High Savings Bank is offering a $140 bonus when you open the account through Swagbucks, MyPoints, or Bank Bonus. I would do Swagbucks. I might do this. It's up to $140. You have to deposit at least $1,000. Oh my, here you go. To earn the total, you must deposit over $5,000 into the account. Let me see what the Swagbucks link actually says. Yes, you need to deposit over $5,000 to get the full amount. I don't know if I'll be doing that because I'll be already strapped a bit for cash considering my Discover that's coming up here. But this is definitely the longest episode I've recorded. I hope you all found it interesting. If I can do anything for you on Reddit, I'm Fear the Z. Don't chat me on Reddit, though, because I have non-official Reddit app, and it doesn't show me chats. You can send me a message on Reddit. You can send me a message on Discord. You can send me an email at Churners Digest. I'm happy to chat. But if you ask me, like, silly questions, like, what is the current sign-up bonus for a particular card? Go Google it. I'm not answering that question. I ain't got time for that. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a nice Monday, and I'll chat with you all later. Peace.